Caleb Mother Bleepin' Williams, WTF. Wow, that is perfectly said by Danny Parkins. You can find him weekdays on FS1's First Things First. Danny, that was one of many Caleb-related tweets, which we respect. They came out yesterday. We could have pulled as part of that segment. So what did you see yesterday? Just give me your now that you've had a little bit of time to thaw out from watching that game. Caleb, did he emerge into some new status for you?
Man, that's dirty work, guys. Bringing in-game tweets are sacred. Okay, I cannot be held to the sanctity of what happens in the game. When the Bears game is on, I feel like that should all be scrubbed from social media. It's like, wow, I really am a wordsmith. Caleb Mother Bleepin' Williams. Wow, that's why they pay me the big bucks. No, I don't think he entered another. I don't think he entered another stratosphere because I already held him in very high esteem, and I think that people sometimes lose the plot with him because they look at the completion percentage or they see the Bears' run game. Caleb has arguably the best arm in football. And he took 68 sacks last year, and that's been cut dramatically. He's been clutch. He's gotten better as games have gone on. And I thought that was arguably his best game yesterday. The Browns are a top 5 or were a top 5 pass defense. It was sub-zero temperatures. And he would have had a 300-plus yard game if not for a couple of huge drops by his teammates. I thought he was accurate. He threw with authority. Obviously, it was a blowout. But I thought that was one of his more impressive games as a pro.
We also saw, speaking of sacred in-game tweets, we saw another great tweet from you, gloating about what happened to win a bet with your colleague Chris Broussard. Had something to do with the Bears? What was the bet?
Yeah. Well, I love Brew, and he's one of the nicer people in all of humanity. But he said something so ridiculous on television this week that it offended my sensibilities, and I needed to profit from it. But Brew is a man of faith, and so he doesn't gamble money, but he was happy to gamble a dinner because he said Shedeur Sanders will outplay Caleb Williams. Not can, not might, but will outplay him. And so I asked if we could do a wager on it, and I was like, Brew, you and I have never gone out to dinner, just the two of us. And he was so cocky and so confident. He's like, well, let's just do a tab with you, me, Nick, Wilds, Coach Mangini. And then I got to be honest, even though I was very confident I was on the right side of the bet, I was like, Brew, you've been on TV for like a decade. I was a local radio guy before this, and now this potential dinner tab has gotten very expensive. But I'm thinking steakhouse this week because Caleb comfortably outplayed Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah. I mean, but what kind of steakhouse? Like, we go in a fancy steakhouse? Like, are we going in an a la carte steakhouse to make it hurt a little bit so he thinks a little bit about it next time?
Brew's paying. Brew is paying. We're going to one of those that have the shellfish tower and the bone-in ribeye. Yeah, absolutely.
Of course. Get a nice little tomahawk.
Yeah.
I feel like the number of
before the bottle of wine,
The number of years you've been on TV equate to the number of drinks each person's allowed to order on that tab. It feels like that's the only way.
That's fair.
That worked. I was saying if I was like, we'll go out for like tacos. We'll go out for tacos and margaritas if Shedeur would have outplayed him. But now that Brew did it, I feel like bottle of wine for the table.
I don't know, Danny, though. You can sell that, though, because don't just go tacos. Just tell everybody it's your favorite taco truck, and then they're like, oh, this must be cool. That's the way you get away with it.
Yeah,
what did we learn from Shedeur? 100%. What did we learn from Shedeur yesterday?
Shedeur, listen, Shedeur, I think that the media has collectively lost its minds on Shedeur. Like, Shedeur should be treated like a fifth-round rookie quarterback on a bad team. Not as like, before the draft, we kind of thought that he was going to be great and could have been the number 1 pick in the draft. Well, we were wrong. We were wrong. The NFL told us what they thought of him, and his only road game prior to yesterday was at Vegas. He completed 11 passes. The numbers looked pretty good because there was a 66-yard touchdown that involved 65 yards after the catch and a 1-yard swing pass. Then there was the game against Tennessee that a lot of people crowned him as a franchise quarterback, in which he lost to the worst team in the NFL. He played very well. I was very impressed with him in this game, and Shedeur maybe will be good, and I'm rooting for him because he genuinely seems like a pretty likable guy. But I think that people wanting to be like, well, the Browns should pass on a quarterback in the draft based on what he did against the Titans. It's crazy. Like, he went into Soldier Field. It was freezing. He played the number 1 takeaway defense in the NFL, and he had there were 3 turnovers in the game. So he might be okay eventually, but he's not a franchise guy right now. And so for his own benefit, I think people need to pump the brakes on him a little bit.
And I think that's the only right answer. He might be good. He's just not all that great right now. And that's okay to have that kind of opinion on Shedeur Sanders. Not everybody needs to have, their minds made up about what he is or what he can become. But I mean, I guess you want to say the lone bright spot for the Cleveland Browns is Myles Garrett. It is the poster child for that.
Yeah, and it's been that way
the
for a few years.
Maserati. Yeah, it's like he's the Maserati in the trailer park. He's Shohei Ohtani with the Angels. How do we fairly evaluate Myles Garrett when he is truly the Maserati in the trailer park, when he's on track to break the single season sack record, when he's going to run away with Defensive Player of the Year on a team that's not even sniffing the playoffs? How do we, give a guy like that his flowers appropriately?
Well, I think that's why we created Defensive Player of the Year, right? He'll win that unanimously, like you said. I think should be universally regarded as the best defensive player in football. And Myles Garrett shows this. Like sometimes when great players are on bad teams, we can feel badly for them, or we can say, man, I wish that this team would trade that player away because I want to see them, play in January and play on a contender. Myles Garrett requested a trade, said his goal was never to go from Cleveland to Canton. And then they gave him a contract with a lot of zeros and commas in it. And he was like, you know what? Cleveland to Canton sounds good. So do I wish he was on a better team as a football fan? Yeah, but he chose the money, and that's totally okay. I probably would have done the same thing. And he's having a historically great season, and he is a historically great player. He's one of the best defensive players of my lifetime. But I don't have a very hard time, I guess, putting him into context or giving him his flowers. He's the best defensive player in football who happens to play on a bad team, and he chose to play his entire career on a bad team.
So let me be deep for a second then, Danny. Why? Because I agree with everything you just said, right? But here's my constant deep thought on edge rushers. We are watching right now historic edge rushers all over the league that are dominating, and many of them are on bad football teams. And we're like, yeah, that's just the way it is. Why can't we take that same logic to the quarterback? Why is it that you suck as a quarterback unless you win a Super Bowl, but you can be the greatest defensive player of your generation, and it's okay that you're on a terrible team? Why do we accept that an edge rusher is one of 53, but we make a quarterback 53 into one?
Well, I'm not sure if you're thinking about any quarterback specifically, but I'm with you. Quarterback wins, wins are a team stat. This isn't the NBA where you're one of 5 on the court. You're one of 11 on your team on the field, one of 22 on the field at once, right? So winning in the playoffs and rings and trophies and all of that is how we absolutely parse the greatness when we're talking about GOATs. If you want to get into the Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady conversation, yeah, I think we can all agree that you need postseason hardware in order to get there. But football is the job of a general manager in the NFL is to evaluate and isolate individual talent within a team performance. If you're a great deep ball, route runner and pass catcher as a wide receiver, but your quarterback's got a noodle for an arm, he can't get you the ball. It's not on you as a wide. I don't think Justin Jefferson got worse this year because of the quarterback situation in Minnesota, right? These things are very complementary. So when you were talking, Fitz, I was thinking about, Justin Herbert. To me, Justin Herbert, when I watched the games, is very clearly a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. There's just no doubt in my mind, he's one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the NFL. He's got the arm, he's got the brains, he's got the toughness, he's got the mobility. But in the past, he's been let down by injuries around him. He's been let down by his coaching. He's been let down by bad special teams. This year, he seems to have the coach. He has the kicker, and his offensive line has been decimated, and he still is going to take the Chargers to the playoffs. If I had an MVP ballot, and by the way, I should, Justin Herbert would be a top 5 guy for me this year, no question, but people have a hard time putting him on that elite level because he doesn't have a playoff win yet. And admittedly, his playoff loss last year to Houston was bad, and the collapse against Jacksonville a few years ago, though not on him, was certainly bad. He's 0-2 in his playoff career, but Justin Herbert's a top 5 guy in the NFL. There's no question about it if you watch, and the wins is not something that I really hold against him.
So let's stick on that AFC quarterbacks without a Super Bowl ring trend. because this will be yet another year that Joe Burrow and the Bengals do not have a Super Bowl ring. They get destroyed by Baltimore just days after his press conference where he said, "I'm not having fun. If I'm gonna continue doing this, I have to be having fun." Are we gonna see Joe Burrow demand a trade out of Cincinnati?
It's a great question. Diana Rossini reported, no, that he just wants to win and that he's not talking. This isn't like an Andrew Luck situation and anything quite like that. But what I said when those comments came out were like Mike Brown has to get on the private plane. Duke Tobin has to stop scouting college games. Zach Taylor had to stop game planning for Baltimore. And you had to get in a room with Joe Burrow and be like, hey, what are we talking about? Like, are we just frustrated because we got eliminated from the postseason? Are you frustrated because of your injuries? Like, is it you or is it us? Because if it's us, we want to change. This is not an equal partnership, right? Like the Bengals were the Bungles before they got Joe Burrow, and if Joe Burrow left, they probably would go back to being the Bungles again. So like they have to do anything necessary to make sure that Joe Burrow wants to continue playing football in Cincinnati. If it's a him thing and he's just like fallen out of love with football and he's had too many injuries and he's been too beat up and he doesn't like fame and the spotlight anymore because of some things that have happened in his personal life that he felt like were kind of an overstep in terms of invasion of privacy, both literally and figuratively, with how the media covered him. Well, okay, then you can't really help that, and maybe he'll walk away from football. But if he is not thinking it's fun because of anything the Bengals are doing, then they have to make whatever changes are necessary in order to keep him happy.
Well said by you. Let's stick with quarterbacks in the AFC for a second. Obviously, Mahomes goes down yesterday. That's heartbreaking for everybody that loves football. We all know your colleague, Nick Wright, is the biggest Chiefs stan in all of media. So have you checked in on Nick? How's Nick doing with the Chiefs being eliminated? You giving him a hug? Like, where are we?
Hug? We have the type
poor Chiefs fans.
It's more of a ball busting friendship. Listen, Nick and I stood at each other's weddings. He is my best friend, and we watch most NFL Sundays together. But we did not watch yesterday. We FaceTimed right before kickoff to kind of gauge each other's confidence level in our teams and discuss wagers and that sort of thing. And then I know better than to reach out after a game like that. I will see him in a couple of hours today at First Things First. I know that he is devastated that Mahomes' injury is awful. Let's be honest. I'm sure he'll have a wildly informed and insightful and entertaining take on it. But as much if I was in person, I maybe would have given him a few comments. But you never quite know how that text message is going to land. So I didn't feel the need to twist the knife. And like you said, it's not just that they were eliminated; it's that Mahomes tore his ACL. So like that's just sad. Like I can make jokes about the Chiefs' season being over. Like okay, you've had your run, but Mahomes now hopefully he'll be back for the start of next year. It was 270 days until the opener yesterday, assuming the opener is September 10th. That's exactly 9 months. You can come back from an ACL in 9 months, but we'll get more details on if it was extra ligaments or any damage or anything like that. Right now, the reporting seems like it's a pretty clean ACL, and if that's the case, I think you would expect Mahomes to be back for next year. But obviously, this is now one of the biggest stories of the offseason.
Danny, Bears winning the Super Bowl this year. Go ahead, just let us know. Bears win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that'd be great. That would be great. Man, that would be good for my career and my bank account. Listen, probably not, but I would say that about every team in the NFL. But probably not. There is no juggernaut this year. The two teams that were in the Super Bowl last year, like the Eagles, they'll be there, but they've been proven that they can be beaten. The Bears just blew them out on Black Friday. The Chiefs aren't there. Think about the quarterbacks that are going to be atop these conferences, like Bo Nix, Drake May. Like lot of questions with these guys, So it does feel wide open. I think the Rams are the best team, but maybe it breaks and the Bears get the 1 seed and they've got to come out of LA and go to Soldier Field and play in sub-zero temperature. So I love the Bears coach. I love the Bears quarterback. I love their running game. The takeaways, I don't know if it's sustainable, but it has been this year. So they've got basically as good a shot as anybody, is what I'll say.